Hello, I'm Professor Brown.
And I'm Julia.
And today we're going to learn the proper way to use the compound binocular microscope. Julia, why don't you take out that microscope? Very good. Place it on the countertop and exactly turn it around so that the eyepieces, which we call oculars, are facing you. And go ahead and remove the cover. And you can just set that aside wherever you like. Here, I'll take that if you want.
Thank you.
And I want to point out, I noticed how you handled the microscope, and that was actually very good. This part, you know what we call this part of the microscope?
Duta.
It's the arm.
Oh, okay.
And this we call the base. And when you handle the microscope, you want to always handle it supporting the base and holding it by the arm. So you have a good secure hold on it. And did you notice how the microscope was in the cupboard when you took it out? How was it oriented?
It was the other way around.
In other words, what was facing it? These are the oculars, the eyepieces you look into?
The oculars were away.
Right,
Sorry.
and what was facing you was
The
the arm, exactly. So the microscope should always be stored arm out, so that you're in position to grab it and handle it properly. All right, what we're going to do next is we're going to get acquainted with the microscope and look at the various parts and what their functions are. And by the way, do you know what we call this sort of microscope?
Binocular.
Right, binocular.
Compound microscope.
Very good. That's actually a good hint over there. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's good.
So a binocular compound microscope. And we'll address why it's called that in just a moment. To start with, we want to make sure we have some power to the microscope. So the power switch is on the back for these microscopes. So
Okay.
go ahead and turn that on. And you should see the lamp, the light source, turn on the base, which we do. By the way, if you ever turn on the microscope and you don't see any light coming up, one of two reasons. Either the little dial here, the red dial, will adjust the intensity of the light, so you can turn it up or down. So if it's all the way down, you may not see anything, but it's on. Or, which is common, the plug in the back is loose. So just make sure the plug is securely in the back, and you're good to go. So the image you're going to see with this microscope, the light begins, of course, at the lamp, at the base, and it's going to pass through a series of lenses. And ultimately, you will see an image in these two, what are commonly called eyepieces here. And we refer to those as oculars. And because there's two, the microscope is called a
Binocular.
Very good. And if it happened to have one ocular, we would call it
A monocular.
Very good. Okay. So the oculars, by the way, not only are allowing you to see the image, they're also magnifying the image. And the degree of magnification you get from the oculars is actually printed on the side. So how much do the oculars magnify on this microscope?
Well, right here it says 10 times.
Right, 10x or 10 times, exactly.
Yeah.
So the image you see is magnified 10 times by the ocular lenses. Okay? And whether you look in one or both, it's still 10 times the magnification. Now the oculars also are adjustable. When you have a binocular microscope, you want to make sure you set it up so it's comfortable for your eyes. Someone else will use it, say, tomorrow or yesterday, but when you use the microscope, you want to adjust it so it works for you. So notice that the oculars are adjustable from side to side. So why don't you go ahead and look in there and adjust the oculars so that they fit the width of your eyes. So that the images you see, right now it's just light, but that it more or less matches up with both eyes and it's comfortable for your eyes.
Okay.
There. Okay, and there's also another adjustment we'll address a little later on when we have a slide that we're looking at, but you can also adjust the focus on the oculars as well, and that might not need to be done, but sometimes you need to do that. Okay, and so let's kind of start from the top down. So you look in the oculars, you see an image. The oculars themselves are going to magnify the image 10 times. The light passing through the oculars that you see is also going through what's called the body tube. And down here we have what's called the revolving nose piece. So go ahead and turn that a few times. So notice you can click various lenses in position, and when they're in position above the light source, then they're going to be, that's obviously the lens that's going to be transmitting the image. So as a general rule of thumb, you want to start with the lens that gives you the lowest magnification, and it's also going to be the shortest one. The lenses, in this case we call objective lenses. Sometimes they're just called objectives. So the revolving nose piece in this microscope has how many objectives?
4.
Right, exactly. And each one of them will magnify the image to a degree that's printed on the side of the objective lens. So this short one with the red stripe on it, what degree of magnification will it provide?
This is 4x, so that's 4 times.
Exactly. Okay, so the first thing you want to make sure you do is have your microscope set up to begin looking at the slide. So do you recall the condenser should be positioned how?
All the way up.
All the way up. And what about the diaphragm within the condenser? Should we?
It should be
all the way open,
all the
right?
way open.
And what objective lens are we going to be using?
Start on the smallest and then work our way up.
Exactly. So the smallest or the shortest, lowest magnification objective lens is the one actually you have in position right now. Remember, what's the total magnification of this one?
Well, if it's 4 and this is 10, it's 4 times 10 is 40.
40, exactly. 40. We call this particular objective lens the scanning lens. The scanning lens is very useful because even though it's a very low magnification, it's got a very large field of view, so that you're seeing a much larger surface area when you're looking in the microscope, and so you can find what you're looking for more easily. Once you find it, then you can increase the magnification gradually. As you do so, your field of view is going to shrink. If you start at a high magnification, it's like trying to find something on the floor by putting your nose up on the floor. It'll be a lot harder to find, right?